I had this conversation. I told him that I was tired all the time, that I felt exhausted. I didn't feel motivated to do anything. I just didn't feel like my body wasn't cooperating with me. You know what? You might be burnt out. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Evolve with Alana. Hi, I'm Alana. Not too long ago, I had this conversation with my father. He was, of course, asking, "Hey, how you doing?" And I don't know why, but I decided to be honest. Instead of the "I'm doing fine" or "things are going okay," I told the truth. I told him that I was tired all the time, that I felt exhausted. I didn't feel motivated to do anything. Mind you, I was still doing my work at that time, and I just didn't feel like my body wasn't cooperating with me. And my father said, "You know what? You might be burnt out." When I heard those words, I'm like, I couldn't possibly burnt out. I mean, I'm still getting up in the morning. I still have some of my routines. I'm still eating fairly well. I couldn't be burnt out. But after some time thinking and remembering, my father was a therapist for over 20 years. For those of you who are concerned with designations, he was an LCSW and an ACSW. I thought he might be right. In his professional opinion, maybe I was burnt out. Or maybe I didn't know really what burnout is. So, of course, like I always do, I looked it up. See, the term burnout came from a psychologist by the name of Herbert Freudenberger. And he developed this term in 1974. Now, it's not a true medical term. In fact, there's a couple definitions floating around on the internet of what burnout is. And here are, of course, I looked it up and I wrote it down. Here are the two best definitions that I liked when looking up burnout. Burnout is your reaction to prolonged stress that leads to mental fatigue, emotional apathy, and physical exhaustion. It's the result of long-term stress. I knew I was stressed, but isn't everybody stressed at their job? Isn't everyone stressed about the work that they have to do? Worried about getting things done on time? The second definition that I found for burnout really got me. Very simple, simple and clean. That definition was: burnout is fatigue that comes from caring too much for too long. That definition. That definition got me. I'm a sensitive human being. I care about a lot of things. I care about the work I do. I care about my friends. I care about my family. And when there's a problem that arises, I care about getting to the solution, helping others. But when I start thinking about it, that care can turn into stress. Care, too much care, can change into stress, into worry. Doesn't everybody? Doesn't everybody stress about doing a good job? Doesn't everybody stress about doing good for their family? Everyone cares, but doesn't everybody get to that point if they're really stressing? When I talk to a couple people, I realized no. Everyone cares, but not everybody stresses, worries about the job, about the family, about the social situations we find ourselves in. So I now know that I am stressing, and I don't need to stress. But maybe it's just stress. Maybe I'm just doing a normal amount of stress. Maybe I haven't taken on the full stress into burnout. And then I looked up the symptoms of burnout. The first symptoms is lack of motivation. Headaches and digestive issues, sleep problems, exhaustion, irritability, a low mood, anxiety, and overwhelm. When I read that list, it's like they were describing me. They were describing how I felt and what was going on in my head at that time, how my body was reacting to everything. And then I realized I was burnt out and I didn't even know it. That I had taken on so much care, so much worry, so much strength for so much stress for so long that I was just burnt out. I was mentally and physically exhausted. And that my body was trying to tell me that it was time to rest, time to release the stress, release the exhaustion, and just rest. But how do you do that when you have deadlines to meet, doctor's appointments to go to? You take a breath and become more aware. And I want to leave you with this. Think back on your life right now. Think back about those symptoms of burnout. How many of them apply to you? And are you secretly burnt out? I hope you like this video. If you do, please like, share, and subscribe. And in the comments down below, how many of those symptoms of burnout do you have? Because you are not alone. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.